Data is the new science, and business analytics, machine learning, and artificial intelligence hold the answer. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to thank and appreciate every participant for being part of this wonderful event. As the name suggests, ITHON, which will describe the applications of artificial intelligence, business analytics, and machine learning in every sector, whether it's manufacturing, retail, or telecom. Hope you are all safe and doing well in your home. During such a pandemic situation, we all have turned to digital platform as we can't stop learning. And it is the right time to understand the implementation of AI in our world. Data is the new oil, as quoted by KPMG, and it will change the working style of people and it will lead us to new heights. In the coming future, AI, ML, and business analytics will rule this world. During this event, we will understand the relation of artificial intelligence, business analytics in corporate sector, and why it's important for students and working professionals. Today, we are indeed fortunate to have here with us today Professor Abhishek, Mrs. Shamaita Acharya, and Professor K. Kiran. All came together to explain the importance of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and business analytics. We at AIMS IBS would like to thank all the speakers for their valuable time and effort. Without them, we couldn't conceptualize this event. I hope that this event is going to be exciting, meaningful, and impactful, and help us to understand the world of business analytics, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. Before we will start the event, I would request our Honorable Director, Dr. Venkatesh Akeri sir, to please address the gathering.
Yeah, thank you, Subham, for wonderful beginning. And I wish all the coordinators and the team for hosting this program all the best for the rest of the time. Yeah, good afternoon, all the speakers for the day and participants from all over the country, from various cities and various colleges. AIMS IBS Business School has started its journey from 1999, and today we have around 8,000 plus alumni working in 23 countries and various cities in India. So we have almost every time benchmarked ourselves by offering a lot of programs to public and students community. And this is one of the most important workshops that we plan to offer to the student community. Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank all the coordinators of IT Club and all the faculty members of AIMS IBS for making this success with evidence of having a lot of participants from all over the country. So this workshop will definitely help and trigger all the participants' mind and also show you the way that how and what are the career options for various students and participants in these three important domains. As Shubham said, data is the next oil, and definitely it's very, very important for all of us to be in this particular era of data science, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. Yeah, I also would like to thank all the participants for being very active and joining and confirming the registrations. I also would like to thank all the directors of the various institutions who have encouraged their students to join for this program. So once again, I thank all the speakers who are here on the panel today for giving us the time and opportunity to be with you. Thank you, Shubham, and thank you all the coordinators, and all the best for the event.
Thank you, sir, for such a great beginning and setting the atmosphere right. Now I would like to request my dear classmate Shushmita to please introduce Professor Abhishek.
Thank you, Shubham. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sushmita. Welcome you all to ETHON, a workshop on business analytics. Business analytics refers to the skills, technologies, and practices for continuous iterative exploration and investigation of past business performance to gain insight and drive business planning. Let us understand and learn business analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning from senior industry experts in association with Gratik Bangalore. It's my pleasure to introduce our first speaker of the session, Mr. Abhishek. He is an advanced analytic data science professional with 10 plus years of industry analytic experience. He is an AVP with Deloitte Consulting and has vast experience with Infosys Accenture. Professor Abhishek is highly proficient in big data analytics, Python, Spark, R, SAS, machine learning, cloud platforms like AWS, Databricks, Azure Data Lake, visualization tools. He brings optimized solution to clients across various domains and telecom, FMCG, banking, agriculture, and healthcare. We are grateful to have Professor Abhishek with us today. I would request my classmate and coordinator Akash to take over and share the screen. I request all the participants
thank you,
to
Sushmita.
please use the chat box for your queries and questions, which would be taken up during the last 10 minutes of the session. I repeat, I request all the participants to please use the chat box for your queries and questions, which would be taken up during the last 10 minutes of the session. Thank you.
Abhishek sir, can you hear me?
Hi, sir. Very good afternoon. Yeah, I can hear you.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, you are good to go now. You can share the screen also.
Before that, Kiran sir said he would like to address the gathering for about a minute. So, Kiran sir, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Very good afternoon and a warm welcome to all the participants in this wonderful session. We are thankful to Dr. Venkatesh Adhikari and the team of AIMS IBS for giving us a platform to showcase and share our journey and experience in the industry and the academics world. We bring industry 4.0 experiences, case studies, customer challenges, market insights. So the next 3 hours today from 3 different speakers, including me, we will have a deeper insight into how industry performs, what are the technology, methodology, business processes, compliances, and certification. Should anybody have a query, as one of the coordinator has mentioned, feel free to use the chat box and we could discuss during the Q&A. We've been also associated with the AIMS of conducting analytics training offline training program. Now we're in the peak of the second COVID wave in India. We would also continue and we do online training and workshops and certification. Should anybody be keen to get to understand more what we do as a firm and as a team, you're most welcome to discuss with us, and we would be more than happy to share with all of you. So look forward to interacting with all of you, and good luck to Mr. Abhishek and Shemaika for this session. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. This is Abhishek this side. I hope I'm audible and visible both.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to thank Mr. Kiran and Dr. Venkatesh, along with all the participants who had joined in, taking time out on a Saturday afternoon and listening, and an exciting session related to data science and advanced analytics, which is going to be a cup of tea in today's world as we go and move forward towards the next set of activities and to-do list that we should be having in our profile and resume down the road. So would like to thanks everyone for that. So just to begin with, before I move or deep dive into the PPT or the slides, the use cases and the scenarios that I am planning to cover, I would request each one of you, and I hope and pray you all are doing good and staying safe during the tough times, because as we all know, data is growing, but so is the number of COVID cases in India. So request everyone to stay safe and maintain the protocols that we are all actually being mentioned time and again by the government. So with that, let me just begin. So mostly I'll be covering today about analytics, what sort of career that it's going to bring, what is the expectation, what are the prerequisites that you need to learn before you actually master the skills, along with some use cases and how it would benefit down the road. So I would share the deck. I hope you all would be able to see. Just let me know if you are not able to view it. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's pretty much the headline. As you can see, heads up on current industry 4.0 niche digital trends. So I'm going to cover the areas and the topics that we mostly actually, cover as part of our, professional training as well. I being associated with Gratech with Mr. Kiran, and we actually deliver some of the programs across institutes in the country. So these are the basic highlights. So before I move on to what big data is or what data science or machine learning is going to bring, I hope you all might already be aware, if not just to touch base on how data is going to rule the world. As Mr. Subham at the beginning of the session rightly pointed out, data is the new oil. Yes, we all agree. Just an add-on to that, data being the new oil, India is going to be the new ocean as well, because most of the projects from the developed countries are actually getting migrated and exported to developing countries, especially India, given the fact post-COVID, it's accelerated even more than ever. Technology is driving business, not only business, it's even driving people's life. So every aspects and facets of life is now getting digitally driven, and it would be more, and it would actually expedite very fast in next 5 to 10 years down the line. As you can see from the slide itself, which is very much self-explanatory, by 2024, so next 3 to 4 years, the data would be exploding. It's predicted that 75% shift will be on the AI-based models. There will be organizations with more than 50% of their operations and revenues coming from data-driven and analysis, and the analytics that we would do to gain meaningful insights out of large chunks. So that's where the world is basically moving to. Moving on to the next slide, these are basically the offerings that we have. What are the types of analytics that we will actually cover as part of the sessions in our portfolio, moving to big data analytics, text analytics, and data science and machine learning that we all keep hearing day in and day out. So these are the 5 basic types of analytics. So I'm not going deep down into all the details, just to give, keep it short. Descriptive, predictive, prescriptive, diagnostic, and preemptive. So we can actually handle and process historical data and try to gain some insights out of what had happened earlier, which is descriptive analytics. We can also do some predictions. As we all know, we keep hearing the buzzword called machine learning. Predictive analytics probably is a favorite topic for all the data science professionals. Like they want to, gather some data based on the past 6 months, statistics. I can even predict the revenues and the profit margins that my organization can have in the next 3 to 4 quarters. So these are all important use cases basically for, across industry landscape, whatever the industry or the company be. Everybody is looking to gain some insights out of their data by doing some processing and transformation, and then followed by some machine learning algorithms. So along with that, there are a lot of other types of analytics as well, like prescriptive, diagnostic, and preemptive. All those would be covered as and when we move into sessions, but as part of this webinar, basically we are going to just keep it short and just an introduction about what we are going to offer basically. So coming to what are the latest trends in the industry. So big data, we all keep hearing, right? Day in, day out, we know what it is. We have heard about some of the tools, some of the commonly used big data tools like Hadoop, Spark, Hive, and all. Probably we might not be knowing everything in depth, but at least we have heard that, okay, it's actually growing. And just to give you some statistics, in today's world, 90% of the data, when I say 90%, what I mean here is 90% of the overall data volume that we have in today's world has been generated in the last 2.5 to 3 years alone. So you can just imagine mathematically how fast data is actually growing exponentially. And some of you might be aware, you might not as well. After 5 to 6 years, we won't call this technology trend as big data. It will become huge data because it's growing so fast. The challenge is not the data, but the challenge is to derive useful insights from the large chunks of data that we keep gaining from various, source systems like ERP systems, CRM systems, some websites, some flat files, whatnot. some social media sites just to analyze, let's say, for example, a customer sentiment on a specific product that you might have purchased in Amazon. You might go and see what are the review comments and the sentiments across that, in the entire product throughout the life cycle. So those things are becoming need of the hour nowadays. If you see the habit that people possess, even when we are sitting here at home, we all like to order some food in Swiggy, Zomato, and they deliver in our home. Gone are those days where we actually park in a taxi line and just book a taxi, right? We now live in a world where we have a smartphone. We just book a cab using Ola or Uber. So if you look at your life as a whole, your day-to-day activities, it's already 50 to 60% technology driven and not manually driven anymore. So therefore, post-COVID, the need of the hour is to learn artificial intelligence, machine learning, and big data more than ever. And this is one field. I know the economy has been taken for a back, over the last one and a half years due to COVID. There was a huge setback in the GDPs and stuff like that. But this is one area, this is one industry, technology industry, especially the digital industry, is growing. It's actually, it actually got enhanced further and accelerated due to COVID. So coming to the latest industry trends that we are going to bring in, yes, big data analytics, as I have mentioned, followed by machine learning, text analytics, and NLP. So there are some elements that we are going to bring as part of GRAHATech. That would be something like, instead of wasting time on configurations and installations, we are going to provide some cluster support as well. Like in today's world, when you are trying to do some data management, basically you need to import some large volumes and chunks of data into some ecosystem, which would help you further to do the data analysis and processing, be it a machine learning or a normal aggregation or a visualization, whatever you might call it. I mean, the data analytics is segmented into multiple baskets. I'll come to that in details. But in order to do all the steps, you need some proper data oriented ecosystem and a platform. So majority of the time during our earlier training sessions, we have noticed people have spent bulk of their time and hours trying to configure and set up things. Sometimes what happens is your operating system might not support exactly the Hadoop version or a cluster version that you are trying to install and configure, which actually, you actually end up wasting a lot of time doing those stuffs and eventually realize that things are not going to work out in your system. So why can't we provide something which is like a standalone platform where people can log in using some specific credentials, or rather they can create their own credentials and just hit there and then can ingest the data in the platform, followed by further processing and analytics. So that's what we are going to provide. We are going to provide an Azure Databricks cluster and credentials for people to work on. That's one of the add-on for the program that we have actually come across in the last 6 to 7 months when we have delivered the big data courses across institutes. That's one. Coming to a major question that people might think, I know there are 180 odd participants already over here. Some of you might be thinking that, okay, do I need to come from a programming background in order to have good grasp on big data or data science? So the answer is no, you do not need to come from a programming background. However, given the fact that we would be working so closely with data, so there would be some significant chunk of technology heavy lifting still be there. But yes, it's not a mandate that you need to come from a computer science background. A bit of statistics and mathematical knowledge will help in data science for sure, but that you can gain through practice and by attending the sessions as well. So these are some of the real-time analytics that I'm going to talk about, like real-time data ingestion and processing, data cleansing and preparation, some of the analytics that we have delivered across multiple clients throughout the globe, data visualization aspects. So we would be having as part of our portfolio. Some of the value additions is like how we can address companies' potential gaps. We actually take the requirements from the clients. We try to analyze and see what they actually lag and where the gap is, what exactly client is trying to answer through their data, and by gaining where they stand and where they want to be in future, we can actually do some data processing and analytics on top of it. All those are totally customer driven and dependent. These are all the Gartner prediction that I mentioned at the beginning itself, how the data would rule the entire world. So we all are aware of it. So I'm not deep diving much here. So coming to my own industry experience. So before I move into some of the case studies that I plan to cover as part of today's webinar, let me also tell you my core competency areas primarily had been in the space of big data analytics, data science and machine learning, a bit of cloud computing and visualizations as well. Even though I have worked in only one visualization tool primarily, which is Power BI. Tableau I know a bit, but yeah, due to industry trends and expectations from the clients changing every day, I'm getting well versed in Tableau as well. So these are my core competency areas in terms of the technology standpoint. Coming to the business standpoint, yes, business analytics, how they help customers and organizations bring value and come up with optimized decisions for their own business portfolio. We all need to understand, as part of or being MBA graduates, we need to understand business analytics first, and then we need to know how Python or a Spark or a Scala or a SQL can help them, right? So you have to understand one thing here: technology and business and the tools and the methods, the way we try to process and handle things, will all go hand in hand together. If you have to be an expert in the analytics area, if you have to be an analytics SME, let's say some of you young boys and girls here who might be aspiring to become an analytics SME or a data science specialist 10 years down the road in a large multinational company. So all you need to do is you need to first know how to connect the dots. You can learn the programming, you can learn the coding or the technology aspects even at a later stage after you know how to connect the dots. So that's where people miss. So now I'm going to cover some of the case studies that we have supported. So this is for one of the product-based companies where we have supported where we have actually delivered some of the data-driven analytics. We have developed some tool for them to create a single source of truth where multiple data various formats of data coming from variety of sources were clubbed together to join and create a single source of truth for them to understand their organization's data, and it actually eventually helps them gain how to come up with their business strategy better and in a more optimized fashion down the road. So that's where the CXO level people have already reviewed and looked after. We have delivered large projects for a product-based client. Moving on, we have also supported some of the Indian GSM sectors as well, where we have actually helped them grow their revenue by 20%. We have actually helped them doing data analysis for their cost cutting measures, which eventually actually helped them boost up their profits and the revenue margins. This is number 2. Number 3 is, okay, I think I plan to cover one more, which might be there at a later stage in the PPT, but it's okay. So basically, just to give you a gist of it, we have worked across retail, healthcare, products, banking, a lot of sectors across. And one thing we have seen in common across everybody nowadays, every organization and their business leaders, they are planning to move to cloud models. They're planning to do analytics on top of large cloud computing clusters. The intent is to actually process and handle humongous volumes of data and to derive useful chunks out of it, which would eventually give them an edge to drive their business decision making down the road. So these are the big data analytics and how the measurement happens in terms of data. It's pretty technical, so I don't want to go deep here. Some of the important V's of big data, as we all know or might have heard already: variety, velocity, volume. And the veracity of the data. Volume, of course, is growing faster. Variety means we can handle different types of data like a video, image, audio, structured, semi-structured data like an XML or an HTML file. Velocity, when I say velocity, it's nothing but we can handle the data either real time. Let's say you are watching IPL cricket match. So you want every ball, the scores to get updated in your ClickBuzz or something like that. So that's a real-time streaming. A hospital patient whose blood rate or the heart rate or the blood count you want to measure time and again. So that has to come real time. We can't afford to wait over there. However, there are situations where we can afford to actually club and consolidate the data in a storage platform today, and maybe we can actually handle after a week or so. It depends on the business scenario. It depends on the requirements of the customer. So that's what we all deliver. So we all know what big data is now, at least from a theoretical standpoint. Yes, the technology and the method and the tools to handle and process them might be difficult and challenging initially, but for that we actually have different sessions to go about. For the moment, this is what we are trying to bring and we would be providing as part of our training program. So I have created some of the data repositories. There are some useful URL links from which you can get a lot of demonstrations and data which you can use for your own practice as well in future. So from big data, let me move on to the next segment that we generally cover as part of our curriculum is text analytics, where we try to handle structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data. Variety of data, natural language parsing we can do using Python, or we generally use technologies like PySpark as well for raw data cleaning. So when I say raw data cleaning, what I mean here is basically, just to give you a touch point about it, is like when we try to gather data from any source system, what we usually see there is the data is not properly formatted. Some of the fields or attributes within the data might not be in a shape or a format which you might expect for your processing. So all those cleansing and raw nurturing activities needs to be done at the data management storage level itself. So those things we cover as part of the text analytics. Then moving on, these are some of the slides that explains about what text analytics is and what are the different types of data that we have. We also do text categorization. Now you must understand text categorization is also, even though it's a subset of text analytics, but slightly different in terms of context. It's like, let's say, for example, for a customer, you are trying to gain the sentiment, whether after purchasing your product, his sentiment is good, bad, average, medium. So for that, we can have some star ratings and we can analyze those ratings from each customer and then can club together to form some average rating in order to finally have some holistic view about the customer sentiment on that product. So that's also part of text analytics that we do. Then comes the big buzzword we all love to hear, and probably most of you would have been expecting to hear from me: data science and machine learning. After all, who doesn't want astrology, right? Even in our own life, we would like to hear what would happen to me 2 years down the road, whether I would get the promotion next year, whether my financial status and my fame would increase 6 months down the line. Only one thing astrology can't predict is when would COVID go away, by the way. But anyways, rest all we would love to hear. Similarly, in the data science world, there also we need some astrology as well. Like, based on what had happened in the last 1 or 2 years, how my company would fare in the next couple of quarters in terms of revenue, sales and profits, or the operational margins. So for that, most of the organizations nowadays are actually moving to data science and machine learning. Trust me, 5 years back we used to hear cloud computing, data science, AI and ML just as a buzzword. Yes, we used to hear them, we were crazy about them, but there were not many companies who eventually or actually implemented them. But in today's world, trust me, 80% have already moved, at least in some functions on some verticals of their business. Rest 20% will move soon. Eventually by 2023 or 2024, every company will have at least some vertical within their wing, which will actually apply some data science or machine learning algorithms to predict their business, to come up with better data-driven insights that we all are actually planning to learn. So it's not an easy subject. Let me not lie here. It is difficult to understand machine learning, but with proper coaching, training, and guidance, you would be able to master things. Mostly we cover Python because Python is probably known as the best language for ML libraries and packages, but bit of R can also be covered, and we can, by doing so, we can actually come up with a contrasting difference between Python and R on how they scale up and handle the machine learning models, train them, and test the algorithms as well. So it's all about some statistics and mathematics. Those of you, I know there would be plenty or many of you who would love mathematics and statistics. So you all would love machine learning and artificial intelligence. Bit of deep learning also we cover as part of our theory. As of now, deep learning, we are covering theory. Going forward, we would try to, we would see if we can bridge the gap and cover some of the practical elements as well. So these are some of the common machine learning algorithms that industry uses. Remember, this slide is not talking about exactly what, it's not only talking about what we cover, but it also talks about what industry is currently using as a trend. So these algorithms that I have mentioned, there might be n number of algorithms, but these are the ones which is heavily used 90% of the time across industries or across all the organizations, clients and companies. So linear and logistic regression to begin with, then decision trees, some of the biasing models, some KNN means K nearest neighbors, some K means clustering models along with random forest for better decision making from the data. So that's all I had as part of this PPT. So we are almost like, we have around 15 to 17 minutes of our time left. So I would like to hand it over to Dr. Venkatesh and Mr. Kiran to take it over, and just in case if people have questions, we can open the floor for them for the last 15 minutes so that I can address some of the questions that the participants might be having. And once again, thanks everyone for joining in.
Thank you so much, sir. There's one question from Vinay. He is mentioning about your reference that the world is moving from big data to huge data.
Right.
So in this regard, what are your views on data security and how it is going to be shaped in future?
Yeah, data security, good question, Vinay. I really appreciate it. Data security basically is a challenge. It was a challenge when the cloud migration happened, especially during the 2012-2013 time. It is still a challenge across the board. However, there are tools, there are methods which are readily available, some encryption techniques which would actually help us. Even when the data would become huge, we would still be able to maintain security, not overnight, but yes, for that also tools, some administrations would be required. So that's again a new area of growth as well. So as and when so just to answer Vinay's question in an optimal way, as and when people, the world becomes more complex and things are becoming challenging, it actually opens up new horizon of opportunities. I hope you all would agree to me. So that's where the opportunity lies, and that's where we need to understand not only the data. Trust me here, understanding only the data processing aspects is not going to answer everything. It's also about how you know and handle the tools, the methods, and how to implement and apply technology over it. That's where the security elements, the data governance and the data management would all chip in, and together it will actually come up with a secured system for huge volumes of data as well. I hope I have answered your question, Vinay.
Thank you so much, sir. I request participants to please use the chat box for asking questions. So I have one dimension from Dr. Venkatesh. His question is, what is the way forward for MBA students to get prepared for careers in business analytics?
Yeah, if you see nowadays, top colleges like IIMs and IIMs and all, in fact, not only in India, but if you see Harvard, Oxford, across the world, some of the big names that we love to hear and we keep hearing, everybody is moving to an analytics as a course curriculum. So I would suggest there should be, and it is the need of the hour now. Let me tell you very frankly, there has to be a specific course outline, a dedicated course outline for business analytics. There should be some segments under them, some branches like big data analytics as a specific course outline. We should not just do a mixed bag here. There should be specific course outlines for big data, separately for predictive and machine learning and text analytics. Only then industry and students would survive, because we need data analytics in today's world.
I would also like to add a point to Mr. Abhishek. Many organizations, big, small, and medium, talk about you don't need to know programming to learn analytics. There is a mixed bag, response to to write a program to normalize data, we need to understand what is the database, what is the relation in a specific database, what is the magnitude of data. There could also be a bridge course for people who want to get to learn to the actual analytics. So bridge program of 10 to 20 hours, talking about the basics and nuances of data to a relational database, the kind of tools that are, I mean, in the IT world, we call as the open source and proprietary tools. This would become mandatory. Abhishek will agree with me on this. Hello. Can I continue?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can, sir.
Okay, yeah. So I was talking about bridge course to get to speed to learn. Otherwise, what happens is when we get to write a Python program and we don't understand what is the syntax, it becomes a cumbersome task for an MBA student or a graduate without any programming background. So that is an input I had, a bridge course or short-term program to get people up to speed to get to the actual analytics training and workshop.
Thank you so much,
Over
sir.
to you, Professor.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So there's one question from Shubham. He is asking, in which sense this data science and the business analytics are different? Are they same or are they different? If yes, from what dimension?
Okay, good question, Shubham. So data science is the large umbrella. It's the parent umbrella under which business analytics is a subset. Big data is another subset. Text analytics is a separate subset. Cloud is a horizon which holds all of them together just to increase the number of nodes and to increase the flexibility and scalability. I hope this question answer for this would be clear as and when you deep dive into all the areas. But at a broader sense, yes, data science is the larger parent umbrella under which analytics is a subpart.
Sir, again, one more question in the same reference. Shatadru is asking a question. Which domain is more powerful in analytics? Is it visualization or data clearance?
Okay, so basically it all depends on which dynamics you are working on. So just to answer Shatadru's question, so data clearance happens at the initial phase of the data pipeline. So when the raw data comes from various source systems, you need to first clean the data and move it on to your cluster. So that's where data clearance come in. After data gets cleared and processed and single source of truth gets created, we actually come up with visualization tools to access the data and to showcase to the end user or the business, especially the company leaders like the CXOs. So both are little different in terms of terminology. Both are important. You cannot just say that, okay, data visualization is more powerful than data clearance or something. It just depends on which stage of the data pipeline you are trying to actually come up with a solution for your business.
Sir, thank you so much. I hope, Shatadru, your question is sorted. Sir, I have one more question from one Mr. Mohit Kaushik. He is asking, how can HR sector, there would be a growth in business analytics with reference from HR sector. So please take this question.
See, there is something called HR analytics. If you go through magazines or websites, you will see what HR analytics mean. And I think just to get your question correct, you might be wondering, or probably you might be asking Mohit, that how HR can actually help grow the business analytics sector, right? So in my current firm also, what happens is, even though I can be a panelist, or some of my team members can be a panelist, but it's HR who would need to know the trends. So only when the HR knows the trends and the skill sets, by looking at looking at the profile of a candidate, HR should actually guess whether he or she would be a fit candidate for the resume screening before the candidate is moved towards a panel. So that's where HR can play a role. Yes, every function in the business actually plays a big role in analytics. I hope I have answered, Mohit, if I got the question correct.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, there's one more question from Professor Ambika. She is asking, what kind of companies who are hiring the students from business analytics background MBA students from business analytics background in coming years? What kind of companies can we expect?
Okay, on a lighter note, after 5 years, I would rather prefer to answer what companies will not hire analytics background students. It would be easy for me to come up, but just to answer in a more precise way, nowadays, if you look at the industry, consulting firms, all the big fours, even the top threes, let me tell you, earlier McKinsey, Bain and BCG, we all know that MBBs, right? The top three strategy consulting firms, they used to actually grow only through one vertical, that is pure play strategy. But now the game is changing. Even they are moving to, if you now go to Google and just search McKinsey Analytics, you will see there is a different wing being created for data scientists in McKinsey. So what is happening is, gone are those days where a company or a consulting firm would just depend on a pure play strategy. The strategy needs to be now mixed with data and analytics to actually help the entire vertical grow as a wing. So therefore what happens, be it consulting big fours or the MBBs or the product sector, definitely will need data scientists and big data engineers like the Googles, the Apples, Microsofts, or the Ciscos of the world. So they all would need it. Coming to even the small startups or the mid-sized companies, yes, majority of them are actually moving to analytics. There are some companies, XYZ, you might search the name in Google, who only operate and work in analytics, as those are pure play analytics companies. So yes, 5 years down the road, hardly I will be able to find any name which will not move to analytics basically. So therefore, to bridge the gap, these courses are very important as a curriculum for every business school.
Thank you so much. Sir, there's one more question. Sir, Sachin is asking, what are the best online analytics courses according to you that are good to be taken up?
It's very subjective. Depends on how much comfortable you would be based on a certain program. But just to be very honest with you, Sachin, I mean, let me be very honest here, okay? I might sound little wayward, but online analytics courses would help you only if you do practical hands-on. Just by listening a session where people would talk about what Hadoop is, what big data is, or some logos or some pictures might give you, yes, definitely it would help. It would give you some insights, but it would not make you a data scientist. There is a difference between gaining some insights versus becoming a data scientist. So you need practical hands-on to do that. So that's where basically Mr. Kiran and I had sit together last year. Earlier, even we used to actually cover only some slides and theoretical elements. But since last August onwards, we have started delivering a proper hands-on experience to candidates, that too with industry data and demonstrations. So that's what we felt after doing some research and analysis of the market and how students did not gain from the earlier curriculum that we had. So pretty much practical orientation would be required.
So there's one more question. I think we are running short of time, but then I would like to take this question as it is very relevant from the first SEM students who are now listening to you. What should be the first step if an MBA student wants to take up business analytics, and what is the direction to go forward? And can you direct us with some of the good courses and sites from which we can learn and develop this skill?
Okay, good question. And I think it's a common concern across the whole crowd.
Yes,
it's
sir.
Something not only for this institute, but I have seen this coming from various other institutes as well. So I would like to quote something. There is something called TSM. Do you know what it means? TSM, can anybody guess? T for talent, S for skill, finally M for money. So first you need to have the talent and you need to move in the right direction. Then you need to gain your skill set. Finally, money would come to you. So what I mean here is, as part of the direction or the approach that you want, the first thing you need to do is you need to get rid of your fearness. There would be people who might tell you, okay, Python is very tough. Big data is very challenging. You cannot learn. The first thing is to get rid of those fear. Next thing is you need to know which tool and which methodology and which technology to gain the skill sets on. There can be n number of things in the ocean, but you just don't need to tap all of them. Doing MBA is not about just knowing what to do. It's also about knowing what not to do. So you need to be very selective over here. That's where the Industry 4.0 curriculum pitches in. And you need to move into the right set of tools and right strategies, and strategically you need to move on with your studies and experiments and exploration to gain the skill sets that you need to be competent in today's market. Finally, the top-notch companies will approach you. You won't have to approach the top-notch companies. That's where analytics is. There is a huge, gap. Demand is more than the supply. So which is good news actually for students who can actually scale things up very quickly. There is scarcity of resources across big data and data science in almost all the companies basically. So that's how you should actually approach and move forward with a direction in your mind.
Thank you so much, sir, for